Ah, the sun. The sun. Really, it's just a circle light, which is fantastic. It's one of my new favorite things. But yeah, space is kind of. Hey. Yeah. So look, this video is just one sign at a time, so that you can know when the INFJ that you know likes you or not. Now, there's many different forms of love. There's many different forms of like, believe it or not. And anyways, if the INFJ person that you know likes you, there's one way to know. And this is something I mentioned in a different video, consistency. But then there's a second thing. We love gift giving. We actually like giving gifts more than we like receiving gifts, which, is something that you hear in different specific books that it's more godly or something to give than to receive. Well, there's another angle to it. INFJs really appreciate sentimentality. More so, we really, really appreciate someone who appreciates. I know that sounds like a crazy loop, right? But it's true. So, one way to know if we really like you is if we try to give you an experience. A lot of times we love books, right? It's true. A lot of times we love books because we can go into it and we can truly live it while we're reading it. It's not just a thing that we're reading and it's we're living it for a moment. We're experiencing it here, we're deep in whatever book we're reading. That's one thing you can know for sure if you meet an INFJ. We are, most of us for the most part, we are kind of like Belle from the Disney version of Beauty and the Beast. So Belle in the books is totally different in Beauty and the Beast. And actually, I should do a thing talking about Beauty and the Beast and La Belle et la Bête, something like that. Anyways, don't worry, I will fix the French accent. Here's the truth. We're not just going to give you a book if we can help it. If we have a choice and we can give you more than a book and we can give you an experience, we will. So here's a scenario, okay? And it's one I'm going to use in a story. So here's the thing. We love stories as well. And if we can craft you into a story or an experience that you're going to love for the rest of your life, that is what we'll try to give you. We won't just say, that's a really great museum, let's go there. We'll say, I have a surprise for you. It's a really good surprise. And the only thing is you need to dress up, dressy casual or dressy, whatever it is. We try to make sure that it's not a bad surprise where you're going to feel bad about yourself, because it's the exact opposite of a memory that we want you to relive, because that's what we're trying to give you. And then you'll find yourself probably at like a watch shop, or maybe some sort of a steampunk place, or maybe you'll find yourself at a museum, or maybe you'll find yourself at Leonardo da Vinci's birth home, something like that, something that's probably very personal for the person who created it or for the people who work there, something that is in and of itself like a heightened experience. We'll take you there, and then let's do watches as the example. Let's pretend that maybe we don't know you that well, but we care about you, and we know that we love watches. So then here's what we do. We'd take you to a watch place. Maybe it would be in a mall or some innocuous place like that. And we would figure out a way to book the time, really finagle the time, so that we would be meeting you, me, pretend you and me, and the watch guy, just the three of us. And I would bring in, like, this is something that I would do. I would bring in a watch that you would know nothing about, present it to the guy. I'd say, before we get there, I'd say, you just have to meet this guy. He's really interesting. He has the most amazing stories. And probably you'd ask what kind of stories. I'm like, well, I don't want to mess it up, but actually I got some time for us today. And he actually saved one of his real life stories for us. He used to actually, trek through the jungle or whatever it is. Okay, so we would get there, I would present the watch, and he would be leading us through some sort of amazing story, just the three of us, one-on-one. I would ask him to pay special attention to you, so it would be mostly you and this person you never met. Or maybe it would be like a magic shop, as in, just for game or play kind of magic. Or maybe it would be like a CK kind of magic shop, as in arcane and spiritual and ritualistic and all that. But whoever it is, they're going to be sharing with you this amazing experience that they had. They're going to be tinkering with this thing, and they might try to involve you. So maybe they'll have you hold something. And then they'd probably give either one of us a look, and then they would close it up. And I would turn it around and I'd say, I want you to have this. And on the back, it would have inscribed, congratulations on the new job, or sky's the limit. I know you'll do great things, or sky's the limit. You are your potential, or just keep swimming, or something that's highly personal, has to do with you, and that acknowledges you and some special thing that you've done, or acknowledging the special things that you might do. Something that will hopefully also encourage you and that will prove to you, not only because of putting the money into it and having this physical thing that you can hold, but having it presented in front of this little private group, that I truly do care and that I've put the time into it. And you would see it and you'd realize this is for nobody else. This entire thing has been orchestrated just so that this person could give me this gift. So hopefully you like watches, but that's the sort of thing that we would do. We would try to create an experience for you and a memory for you, and we would try to make it as personal, as heightened as possible. The actual gift being the watch, or being the small Thomas Kincaid painting, or being the earrings, or whatever it might be, would be the absolute least important thing to us. We wouldn't care. We wouldn't care about that trinket that we bought you. Whatever it is going to pale in comparison to the experience that we hope that you have in just remembering that experience. Because when we care about you, we truly care about you, and that includes how happy you are. So I hope that helps you maybe realize if there's any INFJs around you who really like you, that they're trying to do something for you. Maybe, they can't get an expert watchmaker who used to trek through the Amazon jungle to put aside time to fiddle around with a special watch that they got you and engraved specifically for you. Or maybe they don't have time to take you to one of those shops. I think they're called Precious Moments shops, and present you with this thing that they had engraved with your name and forever and ever, amen, whatever it is. Maybe they don't have the time. Maybe they don't have the money to do all that. So watch for smaller but also important actions. If you live with an INFJ, for instance, and they ask you if you have time at a specific time of day and to meet in the dining room or something like that, and there's tea, or there's tea and coffee. Believe it or not, the tea and coffee is to show that we're thinking about you and not just about ourselves. We don't necessarily know what you're going to prefer at the time, and we're trying to give you options. We're trying to give you choices, or we're trying to make sure that you enjoy your time. So maybe if you're not in the mood for coffee, you have the tea. We try to do something so that you have an experience, and then we will sit with you and we will give you our time, because ultimately to us, our experience, or our time in which to experience, is the most precious thing other than our love that we can possibly give you. But we can't literally give you our love, so we can give you our time and our unfettered attention. So if an INFJ is making you a little impromptu tea service in the middle of the day, or asking you over on the weekends to do something nice for you, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're in love with you. It doesn't necessarily mean that they think that you're super hot, but it could mean that they think you're extremely special and that you mean a lot to them for whatever you've done. Or it could mean that they have a heightened sense of like for you because you did something very special for them that they don't recognize other people doing for them, or that only they know of themselves having done for somebody else, which means it could foster a feeling of sort of kinship. I've done this kind of stuff many times for one of my friends who helped me out quite a lot when my mom was very sick, and that showed up at every hospital. I've done so much more for her than I would for somebody else, including starting Bible lessons, than I would with anybody else, because I know that was something that was important to her from the beginning. But listen, I love you guys. I hope you're having a really wonderful day. I hope that if there isn't an INFJ out there showering you with attention and love and a heightened experience that's really amazing that you want to remember for the rest of your life, that you're doing that for somebody else, or that you're just having a really freaking awesome, good feel day. Okay. Bye. Bye, guys.